Yeah. Hello, my name is Kelsey Harris, and I did my final on Bob Fosse, the man who changed dance. So, just an introduction to who Bob Fosse is. He was born in Chicago, Illinois on June 23rd, 1927, and he passed September 23rd, 1987 in Washington, D.C. He was an American dancer, choreographer, writer, and director. And Fosse he was very extremely talented. He won multiple awards, which I will talk about later on. So, his early life, Fosse was the fifth of six children born to his mom, who was a Chicago performer. Early on, he was referred to as a child prodigy. He was given tap lessons just to kind of hone in on his dancing skills. At 13, he paired up with another dancer and they together became known as the Riff Brothers. They made very good money performing, and then they did multiple different pieces. At 15, Fosse began working at a burlesque house as an MC. It was there that he was able to help multiple girls kind of choreograph their dances that they were performing. His first bit of choreography that was used at the burlesque house was for a quartet of fan dancers, and that routine is kind of what got his name out there into the theater world. So his dance style, he was one of the most influential figures when it comes to jazz dance. Fosse created a style of modern dancing by using kind of a lot of weird moves. He used finger snapping, he used tilted boulder hats, net stockings, he used gloves to kind of hone in on how the fingers were looking during routines. He also turned in his knees and his toes, and he did a lot of shoulder rolls too. So it was a very strange kind of type of dance, especially for the time that he was choreographing for. He was heavily influenced by, I hope I pronounced it right, vaudeville, which is what his mom was, and burlesque dancers. He created a style of dance that a lot of people deemed almost cynical, and he himself referred to his dance style as the amoeba, simply because of just kind of how weird it looked and how strange it was. But this is what led to him kind of making a name for himself and setting himself apart from everyone else. So some of his most famous works, first one was Chicago. It was directed and choreographed by him. I'm sure we all know. I know Chicago. I'm sure a lot of people know Chicago. Um, it was it was a musical about two women who were accused of murder and how they became famous. And this one I know is still heavily performed in the Broadway world. Next was Cabaret. This was a musical and a film, I believe, about a female entertainer who romanced two men while the Nazi party was rising around them. It was also directed by Fosse. This one won a lot of awards. I do know, I can't remember the exact number, but I know that this specific piece of work for him won him a lot of awards. And Sweet Charity was a musical directed by him and it's about a taxi driver who was trying to find a better life in New York. And it was about how they found love throughout the piece. So, awards and achievements. He won 15 awards and was nominated for 11. So, this is just a few. It's not all of them, it's just a few. So, he did, like I said earlier, Cabaret won a lot. It won an Oscar for him in 1973 for the Best Director. He won three Emmy Awards, all in 1973. He won the Outstanding Single Program Variety and Popular Music Emmy with Liza with a Z was one of his pieces. He also won Outstanding Directorial Achievement in Comedy Variety or Music, also with Liza with a Z, as well as Outstanding Achievement in Choreography. He won a BAFTA award in 1973 as well. 1973 was really his year, y'all. He won everything. It was for Best Direction and it was with the Cabaret. In 1973, he also won a Bodil Award for the Best Non-European Film for Cabaret. And in 1981, it got dark out of nowhere. In 1981, he also won Best Non-European Film, but this one for his piece called All That Jazz. He won a Directors Guild of America award for Outstanding Directorial Achievement in Musical Variety, and it was with Liza with the Z. So his impact in the world. As far as jazz, he revolutionized the jazz dance style. His weird kind of style, it really started to open eyes for a lot of choreographers. This got his name out simply because of how strange his dance style really was. And it's what I believe really pushed him forward, especially with him being able to direct his own films. His choreography was able to really push out to the world. He had a huge influence in Broadway and film just because of his weird style. Even today, a lot of people kind of take pieces of his dances. You know, we see shoulder rolls a lot. We see the weird kind of movements that he made because people still use those just because of how influential his pieces were. He inspired modern dancers and performers because this kind of opened up the door for a lot of people to also kind of perform their own pieces that they may have felt like was too weird or too strange. And it also just opened up the door for a lot of dancers because, you know, not everybody is a technical ballet dancer or a technical tap dancer. So this really opened the door for a different variety of performers. And his style is still used in today's choreography. I know in a lot of his pieces, a lot of performers and choreographers actually try to preserve his dance style and try to almost perform it as he originally choreographed it as. So, in conclusion, Fosse created a unique style of dance that completely changed the world of theater and film. His innovative choreography and storytelling left a lasting impact, influencing countless performers and creators who came after him. Elements of his style can be seen still in modern day performances, making him one of the most important and groundbreaking choreographers in history. This is just the sites that I used. I used multiple different sites as far as number three, four, and five. Those were the awards, and just talking about the specific films that he won. But if you feel free, I would highly recommend checking him out. He was actually very interesting, and his dance style was kind of weird to me, but it oddly looked good. So I highly recommend if you are kind of interested in that style, check him out because he actually is a really good choreographer, and his pieces are really nice too. But thank you so much. And that's my presentation.